Grace believed her wedding day would change her life forever. She was right, but not in the way she expected. Hours before the ceremony, something happened behind closed doors. A deal was made. And from that moment, nothing was the same again. John stood in front of the crowd with a fake smile. Grace sat beside him full of joy. She thought the day was all about love. She had waited for this day for years. She believed John was the one for her. She had saved herself for him. She had told her mother that John was a good man. She believed he would protect her. But John had a secret. 2 days before the wedding, John sat with Mr. Alex in a hotel. Mr. Alex wore a white native cloth. He placed a brown envelope on the table. "You will get this money," Mr. Alex said. "But I must be the first man to touch your wife." John looked at the money. He thought about his jobless life. He thought about the days he begged on the street. He thought about how no one respected him. He agreed. On the wedding day, after the crowd danced and ate food, John took Grace to a hotel, not their new home. She was confused. "Why are we not going home?" Grace asked. "Just trust me," John said. "I booked this hotel for one night." She smiled. She followed him. Inside the room, John gave her a drink. It was juice. She drank it and slept off. When she woke up, she was not alone. There was another man in the room, Mr. Alex. Grace screamed. "Where is my husband?" she asked. Mr. Alex only smiled. John was already gone. Grace sat up quickly. Her head was spinning. Her body felt weak. She looked around the hotel room. It was not her house. It was not her wedding night. It was something else. "Where is John?" she asked again. Mr. Alex sat on the chair near the bed. He looked calm. He wore a gold watch and dark glasses. He had no shame in his face. "He left," he said. "You belong to me now." Grace's eyes grew wide. "What do you mean?" she shouted. "He is my husband." Mr. Alex stood up and walked closer to her. She moved back on the bed. "John took my money," he said. "He sold your wedding night. He said you were untouched. That is what I paid for." Grace covered herself with the bedsheet. Her hands were shaking. "You are lying," she said. "John is not like that. He loves me." Mr. Alex showed her his phone. There was a voice note. It was John's voice. "She is still pure," the voice said. "You can take her tonight. Just send me the rest of the money." Grace dropped the phone. She started crying. Her heart broke. She could not believe what she heard. Mr. Alex looked at her for a while. Then he sat back down. "I changed my mind," he said. "I was going to touch you. But when I saw you sleeping, I felt something strange. You looked too innocent." Grace looked at him with tears in her eyes. "I hate you," she said. "I don't blame you," he said. "But I didn't touch you. I just sat here and watched you sleep. That's all." Grace stood up from the bed and grabbed her bag. She left the hotel room and walked into the street. It was already evening. Cars were passing. People were busy. But her whole world had stopped. She didn't know where to go. She didn't have her phone. Her mother didn't even know what had happened. She stood under a streetlight and cried. Then a car stopped in front of her. The window came down. It was a young man. He looked gentle and kind. "Are you okay?" he asked. Grace looked at him but said nothing. It was Mr. Alex's younger brother, Paul. Paul looked at Grace. Her eyes were red, her hair was rough, her wedding gown was still on her body. She looked like someone who had lost everything. He stepped out of his car. "Please don't be afraid," Paul said. "I am not here to harm you." Grace looked away. She did not trust any man. Her body was weak. She wanted to walk away, but her legs could not move. "Are you hurt?" Paul asked. "No," she said quietly. He looked at her face again. Then he opened the back door of his car. "Let me take you home, or anywhere safe. It's not good to stand here alone," he said. Grace looked at him. She didn't know who he was, but she was tired. She needed a safe place, even for one night. "I don't have a home to go to," she said. "Then come with me," Paul replied. "You can stay at my sister's place. She's a nurse. She will help you." Grace looked at the car, then at Paul again. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. Paul didn't answer quickly. He paused, then said, Because I've seen pain before, and I don't like to walk away from people in pain. Grace entered the car. Paul drove quietly. He didn't ask her any questions. He didn't touch her. He didn't stare at her too much. He respected her silence. At his sister's house, the woman welcomed Grace with warm hands. Her name was Linda. She gave Grace a clean towel, warm food, and a quiet room to sleep in. Later that night, Paul stood outside the room door and spoke gently. "You don't have to tell me anything," he said, "but if you ever want to talk, I'll be around." Grace sat on the bed. Her eyes were full of tears again, but this time it was different. Nobody had shown her this kind of care before. John betrayed her. Mr. Alex scared her, but Paul was kind. She didn't know who he was yet. She didn't even know he was related to Mr. Alex. But she felt something. She felt safe, and for the first time since her wedding, she closed her eyes and slept in peace. Grace woke up early. The bed was soft. The room was quiet. She sat up slowly and looked around. It was a small room, clean and neat. A dress was placed on the chair beside the bed. There was also a tray with bread and tea. She picked up the dress and wore it. Then she opened the door quietly. Linda was in the kitchen. Paul was sitting at the table, reading something on his phone. "Good morning," Grace said. They both looked up. "Good morning," Linda said with a smile. "Did you sleep well?" "Yes, thank you," Grace replied. Paul stood up. "I'm glad you're okay," he said. Grace sat down slowly at the table. She still didn't know what to say. She didn't know how to thank them. She didn't even know how to tell them what had happened. "I don't know how to pay you back," she said quietly. "You don't need to pay," Paul said. "You just need to heal." Grace nodded. She looked down at the table. Then she looked up again. "I want to tell you something," she said. "But I don't want you to judge me." Paul looked at her. His face stayed calm. "You can tell me anything," he said. Grace took a deep breath. "My husband sold me," she said. "On our wedding night. He gave me to another man for money." Linda dropped the spoon she was holding. "What?" she asked. Grace continued. "He took me to a hotel and left me there. I woke up and saw the man, but he didn't touch me. He just sat there." Paul stood up and walked to the window. He didn't speak. His hands were in his pockets. Grace looked at him. "I don't know why I'm telling you this," she said. I needed someone to know." Paul turned around. His eyes were serious. "What's the name of the man your husband gave you to?" he asked. Grace looked confused. "His name is Mr. Alex," she said. Linda covered her mouth in shock. Paul sat back down. "Mr. Alex is my elder brother," he said. Grace froze. Everything went quiet. Grace looked at Paul with fear in her eyes. She stood up from her chair. Her hands were shaking. "You're his brother?" she asked. "Yes," Paul said calmly. "But I'm not like him." Grace stepped back. "You knew all along?" she asked. "No," Paul replied. "I didn't know it was you. I didn't know you were talking about him until now." Linda looked at both of them. She was shocked too. She had never heard such a thing before. Grace picked up her small bag and moved toward the door. "I can't stay here," she said. "I can't stay in the house of someone related to that man." Paul stood up. "Please don't go like this." Grace shook her head. "Your brother tried to destroy me." "I know," Paul said. "But I'm not him." Grace opened the door. Linda walked to her and held her hand gently. "You don't have to go," Linda said. "This is a safe place. Nobody here will hurt you." Grace looked down. "I just need space," she said. Paul moved closer. "Let me take you somewhere safe, if you don't want to stay here." Grace looked at him. She didn't know if she could trust him anymore. but she was too tired to walk alone again. "Okay," she said quietly. Paul picked up his car keys. "I'll take you to my friend's place. She owns a small guest house. You can stay there for a while." Linda packed some food in a small bag for her. Grace said thank you, but her heart was still broken. As they drove, Paul looked straight ahead. "I didn't grow up with my brother," he said. "We have the same father, but different mothers." Grace didn't respond. "He got rich through dirty ways," Paul said. "I left home because I didn't like how he lived." Grace looked at him. She wanted to believe him, but she had been lied to before. "I just want peace," she said. "You will find it," Paul replied. They arrived at the guest house. It was small but clean. A woman welcomed her kindly and showed her to a room. Grace sat on the bed and looked out the window. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew one thing. She couldn't go back to John.